back, my son actually attempted suicide.
So I'm trying.
He took one pill. He took one
Jesus.
pill and then he called me in the office and said that, he's really depressed and he just tried to end his own life. So I panicked, I ran home and, we found him a psychiatrist and the psychiatrist said to me, because I was like, was that really an attempt at suicide or was it a cry for help? Like,
Yes, ma'am.
So I have a situation that I would want to explain to you maybe
Hey.
and a question afterwards. So a few years back, my son actually attempted suicide.
So I'm trying.
He took one pill. He took one
Jesus.
pill and then he called me in the office and said that, he's really depressed and he just tried to end his own life. So I panicked, I ran home and, we found him a psychiatrist and the psychiatrist said to me, because I was like, was that really an attempt at suicide or was it a cry for help? Like one pill? And she said, well, it depends on his understanding that sometimes that he may have intended to kill himself. He just didn't realize that it took more than one pill. And so that I should treat it as a very serious attempt on his life. Like
Please, can I interrupt you? Please, can I interrupt
Yeah,
you? Please, can
sure.
I interrupt you?
Yes.
This is okay. I just started hearing you. I just started hearing you when you said, "Now I just switched my network, and I'm hoping that this is better because this is usually the best in my house." So let's. I really really trust. Like, let me say a word of prayer, and this will serve to the end, and there'll be no
And then
interruption. So I just started hearing you at the point of attempted suicide. It took one pill. I didn't
yeah.
hear what you said before. Then
Okay.
I apologize. Please.
No problem. You didn't miss much. I'm trying to set up a scenario for you before I ask the question. So I have two children. One of them attempted suicide by taking one pill. So when I spoke to his doctor, because I wasn't sure if the fact that it was just one pill meant that it was just more of a cry for help than actual suicide. And he said, you have to see this as a suicide attempt. So that's what I did. But that's not even the question. So I saw that as, okay, he's suicidal. I have to step in. And I just always had issues with drugs. Like, I don't like medication. I feel like medication for mental health issues should be the last resort. I feel like a lot of depression, even clinical depression, comes about because of the environment more than anything else, even though there's sometimes a chemical imbalance as well. So what I did was, I talked to him a lot. He was in therapy, and then I realized that he was struggling to make friends. He was slightly autistic. He discovered he was gay. He just felt socially isolated. It was socially awkward. People didn't like him, and he didn't know how to handle it. So I kind of trained him on how to make friends. I bought him new clothes. I got my daughter, who's older, to talk to some people in school. Basically, we ran interference to change his environment. And he blossomed. He became happy. He was fine for about 4 years. And then in his last year in high school, he went to live with his dad. His dad is an idiot. So unbeknownst to me, his dad took a job where he was like away 50% of the time. So my son was actually alone at home a lot, and we had no idea. Until one day, I got another call, this time from a friend of my daughter's who rides ambulances, telling me that they are on their way to my ex-husband's house because my son had just jumped out of the window trying to kill himself for the second time. And that shit fucked me up. I still have not recovered.
Wow.
Like, till I die, this is something I always worry about. So at that point, I just gave in, give him drugs. I can't risk, my son killing himself. And they put him on serotonin, I think. He's doing better now. He's in uni. That last attempt was like 3 years ago. He's not on serotonin anymore. But I just wanted to know what you thought about the whole drug versus environment solution to suicidal ideation.
Amazing. Like I really empathize with you. I mean, being his mom, I can just imagine how you feel. I'm tempted to, go into therapy now to start asking how is he doing. But he's not here to respond, of course. So, but do you think he's feeling better? Do you think he's gotten over the suicidal ideation?
Yes, but the fear is always there that it will come back. So he's the child that I always have to check on. He's the child that I always have to make sure he's not depressed.
Yeah.
He's the child that I always have to,
Yeah.
I can't
So
treat him like a normal child anymore.
Absolutely. Have you spoken with him to really know the cause of like, so let me start like this. So every emotion actually is triggered by a thought or a belief. Every emotion we feel, depression, anger, love, whatever emotion it is actually triggered by a thought or a belief. So you need to actually be get very very intimate with him. So what a therapist or a coach would do is actually to create a safe space. And I usually tell people that you as a parent should be the primary and the first safe space your children will have, such that it will be difficult for someone out there to really dig deep. Sorry, so someone was passing and talking, and I didn't want that to enter into the recording. It will be difficult for someone out there, right, to really penetrate into your child as you will do. However, that is the ideal. So the reality is that that is not what is happening, right? And so you need to either get a teens coach, which I serve as, to basically work with your teenager, or your child or your young adult to basically probe on really what's going on with you. What how are you what are you thinking about that is getting you to this point of contemplating suicide? I was suicidal as a teenager. Princess is here. Sorry. Sorry everyone. Good to see you, ma. Thank you so much for joining. I was suicidal as a teenager, and that was because I had faced a lot of rejection. I had faced a lot of bully, a lot of basically a lot of abuse, starting from verbal abuse, which I believe that is the most detrimental abuse, because when you sexually abuse someone or you physically abuse someone, it doesn't go in deep when they have the right word, the right affirmation to redefine or reframe what happened to them. So you really need to, right now you are not clear, you're not even sure of what resulted into this suicidal ideation, and you really need to know, because for me, I took that decision for several reasons. I had issues with my O-level results. I was, getting physically abused in the home. I was getting verbally abused in the home. It was all about my daddy and his general overseer. I've written a book on the story, Rescued by Love, why I cancelled my wedding. And it got me to that point where I just said in 2008 that I'm going to kill myself this year. I was 18 and I left my parents before I was 18, and I said, if nothing changes in my life this year, I'm going to kill myself. So it was, and I jokingly said this, I think earlier this year, I had an accident the very day I resigned to go fully into being an entrepreneur. My boss, just told me that I cannot allow you to be doing all the things you're doing on the side. You need to shut down everything you do on the side if you want to keep working with us. And I said, for me, what I'm doing on the side is actually purpose. And I will not shut down what I'm paid for what I'm made for. And I took that decision. Now, guess what? That very day that I went to drop my laptop and official phone, I had an accident. 2 good months I could not work. I know I got depressed because I couldn't have my bath. This is me that I have my bath like 3 times in a day. So it's all those things. And I started getting depressed. And I was like, okay, so if this was a client, what would you say to your client? Now I'm getting depressed because I'm unable to birth. And so what now that is because I knew that my emotion is stemming from a thought or a belief. But someone that does not know will just linger in that emotion and take an action. So I usually call it an acronym of TEA. T stands for thoughts, E stands for emotion, A stands for action. So you actually act based on your emotion. Everyone, when you're making a decision, is actually people say, "Oh, no, I'm a very logical being. I take my my decision based on logic, based on my head." But hey, yo, just come to the reality today. We take when I'm not saying there are not times when, but your heart needs to connect with your head when you take that emotion. So I had to tell myself that, hey, look here, the thoughts will start coming to your mind that, oh, okay, if I was still in paid employment, at least I'll be working from home because they know I had an accident. But hey, I had to start telling myself that this is a season of endless possibilities for me. I need to see it in a way that will serve me. And there's a phrase. Princess is also a professional coach. I'm privileged to be part of our, coaching process, coaching certification process, right? And one of the things we say to our clients is this belief or this thought, is it serving you? And what does that really mean? Is it really empowering you? Is it helping you to live optimally? Because as a therapist, we want you to move from a place of being dysfunctional to being functional. As a coach, I want to help you to move from a place where you're functional to being optimal. And you cannot coach wounds, you have to heal wounds. So if you are just lingering in that place of, oh, okay, I just check on him once in a while, it's good. But you really, really intentionally need to, and this is not me teaching you parenting, I'm just talking to you as far, I'm recommending the solution, right? To say that you
No,
need to be that relationship.
actually, you're spot on. And I already do that. Toby and I, we spend a lot of time discussing tools to cope with anxiety. Everything you said is absolutely spot on. Even I myself, I had issues with incessant thoughts, not being able to shut off the sound in my head. So I had to learn to meditate. I had to learn to arrest these thoughts when they start. I had to learn
Yeah.
to make sure they didn't spill over into an emotion that I couldn't get out of. So Toby and I actually we talk about this all the time. We have the lingo. He's in university. I spoke to him on Sunday, and he's like, "Oh, I have a lot to do. I'm a little, overwhelmed." And I said, "Okay, so tell me, what tools are you using when you get overwhelmed?" And he told me, he's like, "Okay, I stop to watch certain shows. I have these bunch of games, and then I talk to you or to." So we do actually have to have those kind of conversations. And I just wanted to reiterate that because you are spot on. For anyone who's listening, it's not just about checking on how are you, it's about actually giving them practical tools that they can use when things start to go crazy. So I agree with you. Well said, great.
Because you don't want him to always be your there's something called anchor. I don't coach, I don't work with clients that make me their anchor. I don't want you to be my anchor, because I don't want to be your anchor, rather, because I want you to be. Now let me put this out there. One of the fundamental principles of coaching is based on the premise that every human being is fundamentally adequate. We believe that you have what it takes inside of you to become, I like to call it to unleash your greatness, right? Because the seed of greatness is actually resident inside of you. What I just do with you is to partner with you to help you dig it out and find these things and help you deploy it. So since he's in the university, I'm assuming he's a teenager or a young adult. And so I like the kind of relationship you have, such that you're no longer treating him as your child. You are not having that conversation as a friend. Because at that stage, a teenager is actually not looking for mommy. And that's why I call myself the teenager's friend, because they want a friend that will create a safe space that will never judge them. I've been in coaching session with teenagers and they'll tell me, Coach Greatness, do you believe those sheets they say that there are only two genders? I'm like, okay, like how many genders do you think we have? And this girl rose up and told me there are 66 genders. Yo, I said, whoa. And hey, you have to, because as a professional, you're trained to, you cannot now act like the same way I acted right now. You have to, you must not act like a, wow, interesting.
Hey.
Please tell me more. I mean, tell me all the 66 genders. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Network. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can. We can.
Okay, so you have to be that safe space where they know that when they hear things outside, because you don't even know where, for wherever source they heard this 66 gender thing, but they could tell me that because I trust you, that you don't judge me. Like, what do you think when all these adults say we only have two genders? And I had to listen to them that, oh, okay, where is your source? How credible is this source? You understand? Like, you have to, and because as a teenager, they really don't want you to treat them as a child. Neither do they want you to treat them as an adult. Do you understand? So you're in that place where you are also helping them know that, oh, I trust you, that whatsoever you're saying, you are making an informed decision, right? So where did you get the source? How credible is this source? As they are answering those questions, they will come to that place, they'll be like, that thing is actually not right. Do you understand? So you have not basically told them it's wrong. You just ask question, because what's the most powerful tool of a coach is questioning, listening, your intuition. Like, you're listening with empathy. You're not listening to talk. There's a phrase we use. Are you actually listening, or you're waiting to talk? So you're listening with empathy to see, like, where is this person coming from? What is it like? Where is he taking this decision? Like, where is this actually coming from? So those are the tools I will just present out there to say, can we be more empathetic when we hear that people are bullies? Both the bully and the bullied actually need empathy. That's the truth.
Before